Let's see if this is not working. Oh, here we go. Oh, working now? I don't see anything moving. Okay, there we go. Let's see if that works. See if it works. Today is I found a just a video that I'm watching. This is my lunch break, cancer talk, and I'm going to share that with you. I'm just gonna watch it at the same time as you guys. Maybe comment on it as I watch it. But let me see. Here we go.
The closest thing to a miracle that I've ever experienced. And I'm going to describe all the specifics for you, but I think it's important that I recap how we got to here first. So 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3C metastatic melanoma. The origin site was in my calf, it metastasized to my lymph system, and the experience really destroyed me both mentally and physically. I was 30 at the time and otherwise 100% healthy with a seemingly bright future. And the only indication was this little mole on my leg that was slightly mutating. By the time I got through a year of immunotherapy treatment plus and all of the other fallout from dealing with such a life-changing event, I was pretty broken, both physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. My identity had been completely flipped around. The relationship that I was in had been broken by the circumstances, and it really left me in a difficult place as I was trying to regain, I guess, my own agency and kind of get my life back. I did a lot of work to get better. I put in a lot of work, in terms of therapy and journaling and thinking about how it was to live with this now changed identity. And as I was starting to get healthy, we went into a global pandemic. That got weird too, but that was everyone's problem, not mine. And the last few years, I had been trending really well. I was rebuilding myself, socially. I had gotten back to a place where I feel like I was able to have good working relationships. I was putting in a lot of mental health work, and I was coming up on the 5-year out mark, which is deemed cured for many cancers, even though it's a loose guideline. And then 79 days ago, I was diagnosed with a recurrence, and it was stage 4 melanoma that had affected 2 lymph nodes and my tongue. 78 days ago, I made my first cancer video, the day after I was diagnosed. It was really just an effort to get information out to my friends and family because I didn't want to have the same conversation over and over, get asked the same questions. What's the diagnosis? What's the prognosis? What do you have to do for treatment? But I hosted it on YouTube because I wanted to be able to post it on multiple platforms if need be, and I don't know, it's just what seems correct to me. And after I posted it, it started attracting attention not only from my friends and family, but also from strangers on the internet. And quickly it became clear to me that this is what I actually would have wanted when I was diagnosed the first time. I could create the content that acted kind of as like a living, working guideline to what it looks like to actually have life-threatening cancer and what someone's experience was who's going through it, had gone through it, and could continue to give updates about what cancer looks like in a real.
So some of this, like, you don't find out till after. He's not the only one that does this or this done this. I guess there's you find it all online. And anyway, we're gonna go back to listen to his journey.
Life sense and not in a clinical sense. And so I just kept going. I've been making these videos, and it's really become an integral part of keeping it together for me, mentally, as well as a very useful way to get the information out to the people who care. And I think that the best part about all of it is I've found my place in how I can give back to the cancer community and how I can continue to kind of provide, like I said, a working example of someone who has cancer and intense treatments with Opdivo Yervoy mix, and then indefinitely switched to just Opdivo with the
Maybe it's me, but sometimes when people start talking all these meds, different meds, and all that stuff, it gets for me it's too much to take in. You got this drug, that drug. I don't even know half the chemos I take or the stuff that I take, other than the current one. It takes me a while. I'm kind of slow, I guess, on that aspect. That trying to remember all the different meds I'm taking and the amounts I'm taking. Anyway,
the kind of guidelines being about a year. So it would be like 14 total months of treatment. I did 2 of those treatments, and immediately my body started to show some real serious side effects. My thyroid started to die even more. It had gone out a little bit during my first bout of cancer, and then after my second treatment, my body just started to shut down completely. I went into a thyroid storm. I got autoimmune hepatitis. I had gastritis. I had everything on the planet, so we had to pause my treatment. I got put onto super high dose steroids, which I'm still tapering off of right now. And things were getting kind of weird. It was getting to a point where I was bedridden for weeks at a time. I had very little energy. Mentally, I was starting to get into the swamp a little bit, and everything was trending pretty poorly. And I was starting to feel like this was going to be a repeat of the same jail scenario I was in from 5 years ago. I call it jail because when you're diagnosed with cancer and you go through treatment and actually go through the aftermath, it just puts you in a box. All you can do is think about how you're going to try and survive, which means, you have to go to doctor's appointments all the time. I've been in the doctor's office 25 out of the last 80 days, and it was 110 days out of 365 for my first year of doing treatment 5 years ago. It saps all your energy, limits what you can do. It's just something that makes you, selfish and locked in, and it makes anything else seem trivial. I mean, how are you supposed to focus on day-to-day life when you don't know what yours is going to look like in the future? So the projection for my...
I want to say on that aspect, I look at it maybe a little bit differently than he does. Like, I just look at it on the face side. It's like whether good or bad, it's like it's gonna be what it is. I'll go through my treatment and I don't know what the outcome's gonna be or whatnot, but I just look at each day the same. One is I'm here now, and tomorrow I may not be. And yeah, I'm kind of losing focus there. But anyway, whether it's good or bad for me, I came to the realization that we all have our end dates, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not. But just focus on when you're here, to be here in the moment as much as you can, 100%, no matter what treatment you're going through or whatnot.
Jail time, 14 months. As I was paused with treatment, we decided the next step was to get a PET scan that would show the progress the cancer had made, and I did that 10 days ago, and that means I was going to get the results read 3 days ago, which was Friday, and this is the good update. This is the stuff that I'm so excited to share, and holy crap, I can't let's just talk about it. So in my last video, I had mentioned that my oncologist had messaged me about the results of the PET scan, probably just to ease my stress levels a little bit. He said, "Greg."
I also want to say, with that being said, kind of he's talking about the results. I don't want to say I get super excited about my results because they are what they are, and having been through so much crap and seen some other people go through so much crap, it's like sure you look at it as a win or whatnot, but it could come back really hard tomorrow. You don't know. That's the thing about cancer, is you don't know. Like he's already beat it once, I guess, and then it came back, and so it's like that. It's like I personally am never. I don't think I'll ever be rid of it. Well, I know I won't, but I never look at it as if it's gone, and even if it my results are great or whatnot, I never look at it as it's gonna go away. And if you have that, I mean, you can look at it either way. You can either look at it, you know, woe is me, or positive, but I never look at it as going away. So I'm always going to be worried that it could come back at any time, or it could come back with vengeance. Like right now, we're just maintaining mine. It can't cut it out, can't, unless something crazy happens, it's not going to go away. But, you know, I'm always look at those things, always keep that option as, you know, you should prepare just in case. You just never know. And anyway,
Results will go over it on Friday. And I actually was optimistic about the scan going into it anyway. It was kind of clear that the cancer was regressing because the site in this lymph node, when I first started treatment, you know, it was a nodule about this big, and my lymph node was super swollen, and it had been progressively decreasing to the point where if I put a finger up there, I couldn't really tell the difference between this side. So you know, I thought, okay, overtly, that seems good. Also, with immunotherapy treatment, the kind of thought process, it's not really well defined because they don't have enough long-term data, but the anecdotal thought is that if your body is having these strong autoimmune responses, it means that your body is picking up the medicine and it's working, only it's working a little bit too well, so your T cells are also attacking your organs concurrently, which leads to all the hepatitis, gastritis, thyroid death, all that stuff. But I was pretty sure that there was going to be some good imaging that would then lead to the availability to restart treatment when I met with my oncologist on Friday. So on Friday, I get in there, and the first thing my oncologist says to me, he says, "You had resolved all of the cancer in your body." And he's a pretty straight shooter. I'm pretty level-headed. You know, we're pretty even-keeled emotionally. So I wanted to dig a little deeper. I said, "What do you mean? You know, what do you mean resolved it all? Is that no evidence of disease?" He said, "No evidence of disease. This is as good of a response as you could have gotten. This outcome is hitting the markers that we're doing, and you don't have to do treatment anymore." What? So all of a sudden, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out talking about it right now still. You know, the one thing that I wanted to make sure of is that that, one, there's no cancer that comes back. That'd be the best case scenario, but unfortunately, I'm also prepared to encounter it another time if I have to, except this time I'd just like to keep getting out in front of it so that I can suffer less and less. Those are the pie in the sky goals for being a chronic cancer patient, and that's why cancer remains scary, is that it still is going to linger no matter what you do. And so that's the other work I'm going to have to do. My mental health was going the wrong direction recently, and this is some scary shit. Going through cancer a second time in 5 years at the age of 35, it does alter your mental and emotional makeup, and it does change the way you look at life. I'm elated right now. I'm beside myself, and I haven't, it hasn't processed that I am still done with this right now. But, there's going to be some weird fallout. I know for sure that I'll go through, different periods of time where I'm depressed or confused, and I'm going to have to work through that. But obviously, there's no complaining right now. This is so ridiculous. And then, as it pertains to making this vlog and other content and other projects that relate to cancer, I'm going to continue to do that. I've found that this helps me a great deal, and it helps other cancer patients and their loved ones a great deal, and it's a fantastic outlet for me. The responses that I'm getting are great. I mean, the community that I'm building have been so positive, and I want to really thank everyone who's been a part of this up to this date, because the comments and the interactions and the support, they've helped me a lot. I know, like I said, I'm making this for everyone I mentioned, including the people who watch, and I hope it helps you guys, but thank you guys so much, and this is just the beginning of it. I think, especially now that I have more time and more clarity, I want to continue to chronicle what it's like to go through cancer, not just during a treatment, because in reality, the physical effects and my day-to-day status, that wasn't ever really the focal point of the videos I'm making. There's a lot to do with the mental health and the emotional health, and how to deal with the long-term planning of being a cancer patient, because it sticks with you, it changes you, and that's the hard part to understand when you're going through it. It's pretty easy to understand, the pathway of treatment and, what that might look like as you improve, or you unfortunately might get worse. I don't think that me talking about the treatment plan was really the interesting part. And so I think, there's a lot of next steps I can take in the way I go about making this content, and my goals are to, interview providers, interview patients, interview people in the community that have done well or had different experiences than me. I really don't know. It's all very new and fresh, but it's also all really, really exciting. And I'm going to try and parlay that enthusiasm and excitement into being the best, example of what you can do with a new lease on life. I really want to keep helping myself and other people who are affected by cancer. It's been super fulfilling. And for everyone who's watched these videos, whether it's this one or from the first one, thank you all so much. Whether you knew me as a friend, whether you knew me as a family member or a loved one, or whether you're someone who stumbled across my channel, I have love in my heart for all of you. I really mean it. I'm going to keep growing this. It's going to keep getting better and better. I'm so happy and enthusiastic for what I think we can do together. I'm going to do my content creator duties and ask you to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I think it's going to be super valuable for anyone who wants to be a part of this. This video's gone really long, and I think I'm going to start crying soon if I don't wrap it up. So
Good job, buddy. I'll subscribe. Like to follow you where you're at. Well, that was 6 months ago. Let's see where his latest videos are. 7 months remission. That one was what, one?
all the specifics for you, but I think it's important.
That's 6 months ago, so how can I tell if I have cancer? Anyway, I'm going to watch through some of his videos again later, now that I'm subscribed. But yeah, pretty cool video. Cool to see he's doing great. Cool stuff. I think well, on a different topic while we're here though, is the mental state. Sometimes I don't know, I had a big argument with my mom last night. Well, both my mom and my dad. But it wasn't about something that I was doing. It was more about what they're doing. And sometimes that stuff can be outside of the cancer. You know, you get pulled down by things outside of the cancer itself. So anyway, just kind of dealing with that outside of the cancer. But anyway, yeah, so that was the video. Time to get back to work. Anyway, thanks for watching or hanging out or